So in this video, we are going to learn how to transcribe audio files to text automatically. Now suppose guys, if you have some audio files and you want to transcribe those audios into text. So in this video, I'll tell you how you can automate this process. So in this automation, we are adding a new row of data with the link, with the URL of the audio file which we want to transcribe into the Google Sheet. And after that, automatically using Growthens API, we are going to transcribe that audio into text. So we will be using OpenAI's Whisper API to transcribe audio into text. So we will be doing this with Growthens API. And after that, after converting or transcribing that audio into text, we will be updating the same text which we have received into the same Google Sheet where we have added the link of the audio file as well. So if you want to know how you can set up this automation, for that you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Audio to Text Transcription. And then just click on Create. Now you can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. Now the idea here is, here I have created a Google Sheet in which I'm adding the date, the file URL of the audio file, the MP3 file URL of the audio file which I want to transcribe. I'm also adding the audio language of this particular file, of this audio as well. And we want that whenever we add these details in a new row in our Google Sheet, using this automation which we are going to create in this video, the text should be extracted. This audio file should be transcribed and this text should be added in the next column in the same Google Sheet in that row in front of it. So we are going to actually automate this process. We are going to set up an automation in such a way that we add a new row with the file URL language over here in Google Sheet, and automatically in the next column, we will get the text from that MP3 file, from that audio file. So let's see how we set up this automation. So here to create this automation in our trigger window, first we have to connect this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect in this trigger section, so that whenever we add a new row with file details, a new row with audio file details, automatically that detail, that file link and language will be received inside Pabbly Connect, and this automation workflow will trigger, it will start. And after that, using this Pabbly Connect's automation, we are going to transcribe this audio and we are going to add the text in front of it for the same audio over here, that too automatically. So let's see how it is done. We will get back to our workflow, and here in our trigger window in Choose App, first search for Google Sheets. So in this video, I'm just taking an example of Google Sheet, like I'm adding the file URLs in Google Sheet. But instead of this, you can use any cloud storage platform as well. You can get the audio files from cloud storage like Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox as well. You can add your audio file there and select those applications in your trigger application section. And then you can automate or trigger your automation workflow from there as well. So here I have selected my trigger application Google Sheet, and in trigger event from this drop-down, select new or updated spreadsheet row. After selecting the trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. And using this webhook URL, we are going to connect this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect in the trigger window. And to add this webhook URL, we just have to follow the help text given below over here. Just copy this webhook URL from here and go to Google Sheet in which we are adding these details. After coming to the sheet, just go to Extensions, Add-ons and click on Get Add-ons. After clicking on Get Add-ons, we will reach to Google Workspace Marketplace. And here in Search app, we have to search for Pabbly Connect Webhooks, Pabbly, Pabbly Connect Webhooks. Here you can see that Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google Sheets. You just have to install this same add-on into your own Google Sheets account, and after installing it, just refresh your Google Sheet once. This is a very important step. After refreshing this, just go to extensions and this time you can see Pabbly Connect webhooks. This add-on can be seen over here. Just hover on it and click on Initial Setup in front of it. After clicking on Initial Setup, this box appears in front of us and it is basically asking us three different things. First one is the selected sheet. So here in selected sheet, we have to select the sheet in our Google spreadsheet from which we want to send the data. So it is most likely possible that in your Google Sheet, you might have created multiple sheets over here. Right now in this particular Google Sheet, I have created only one sheet named as Sheet 1. That is why by default it has selected Sheet 1 over here. But if you have created multiple sheets, you can select that sheet from here. Then after this, it is asking us for the webhook URL. And here in this webhook URL field, we have to paste the exact same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. Just copy this webhook URL from here and then paste it over here. After pasting the webhook URL, the next thing it asks us is the trigger column. Now here you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So the trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. So here in the background, you can see that in this Google Sheet, column C is the last data entry column in which I'm going to enter some data. After column C, in column D guys, we are going to enter the text extracted from this audio over here using this automation. But column C is going to be my trigger column because it is the last data entry column in which I'm going to enter some data over here. Instead of column C, any column could be your trigger column. You just have to ensure that it is the last data entry column of your Google Sheet in which you are entering some data. And after selecting a trigger column, just click on Send Test over here. Now when we click on Send Test, it is showing us test data sent successfully. This means the data of the first row after headers. Like in row 1, we have added these headers, and in row 2, we have added these details of our audio file, a date, and audio language. So data of row 2 is been sent to Pabbly Connect using this webhook URL. So we'll get back to Pabbly Connect, and here in this trigger window inside Pabbly Connect, you can see we have received the response. And in this response, you can see the details from row 2 over here. You can see the same file URL which we have added in our Google Sheet over here. Then you can see the same date which we have added in front of it in that row. And also here you can see the same language name as well, audio language as well, which we have entered in this Google Sheet. This means we have successfully connected this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect. Now just click on this submit button in this initial setup window, and now it has showing us setup configured successfully. This means we have successfully added this webhook URL in our Google Sheet. Now close this window. Once again, we have to go to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and this time we have to select send on event. By selecting send on event, we are telling this Google Sheet, we are telling this add-on that whenever data in a new row is added till our trigger column, instantly, immediately send that data to Pabbly Connect. So whenever we are going to add a new row of data, instantly that data will be sent to Pabbly Connect and this automation workflow will trigger because we have selected Google Sheet as a trigger of this automation. So here guys, the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. Now let's move to step 2. In step 2, we have to basically extract or transcribe the audio file or audio file link which we have received from Google Sheet. And for that, we will just scroll down, come to our action window, and in this video, we are going to use Growthens API. So here in Choose App in this action window, search for Growthens API. Select this, Growthens API. And then in action event from this drop down, here you can see a list of different action events over here. Out of all of this, there is an action event named as OpenAI Whisper API. Make transcription request. So we want to make a transcription request to OpenAI's Whisper API. So we are going to select this action event over here for this application of Growthens API. Then just click on connect and select add new connection over here. Now here guys, we have to actually connect our Growthens API account with Pabbly Connect. Now here you must be thinking how you can create the Growthens API account and how you can get the API key, the API token of your Growthens API account to make this connection. So you just have to refer to the help text given below over here. In this help text, you can see a step-by-step guide that how you can create a Growthens API account and then how you can get the API token to make the connection. Here in this help text itself, you can see there is a hyperlink. Just click on this link, just open this link in a new tab, and it will take you to the page of Growthens API. At this page, you just have to enter your name and email address and click on this Get Free API button over here. After clicking on this, within few minutes, you will get an email on your entered email address from Growthens API. And in that email address, you will get the API token of your Growthens API account. Now, after getting this API token, just copy this API token from this email, go to Pabbly Connect, and using this API token, you can connect your Growthens account with Pabbly Connect. So just copy the API token from the email which you have received and paste it over here. After pasting the API token, just click on Save, and now you can see that your Growthens API account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the file URL, and the help text says, please provide the URL of the MP3 file that is available, which we can transcribe using Whisper API. So here we have to enter the file URL of the MP3 file of the audio which we want to transcribe. So we have entered the file URL in our Google Sheet, and we have received this data from Google Sheet in our trigger window over here in this trigger response. So what we have to do, from this trigger response of Google Sheet, we have to actually map this response of file URL over here in this field of file URL of Growthens API action step. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field, and here in this drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which you have received from Google Sheets. And out of all of these responses, select this response of file URL and map it over here. So whatever file URL we are going to enter in our Google Sheet in this column B, in this column of file URL, audio of that same file will be transcribed using this automation. After mapping the file URL, it is asking us for the OpenAI API key. So we will be using OpenAI's Whisper API to make this transcription. And to connect our OpenAI account with Pabbly Connect to use the OpenAI's Whisper API, we have to enter the API key of our OpenAI account. Now here guys, to get the API key, just log into your OpenAI account. On the right top corner, just click on this profiles option, and from this drop down, click on this view API key button. Click on this create new secret key button, and then give this secret key a name. For example, I would like to name it as Pabbly Connect. You can give any name according to your choice, and click on create secret key button. And now here you can see that a new secret key has been created in my OpenAI account. Just copy the secret key from here, and then go back to Pabbly Connect and paste the same API key over here in this OpenAI API key field. So in this way, you just have to enter the API key of your OpenAI account. After entering the API key, it is asking us for the audio language, that in which particular language this audio is present right now. The help text says the language of the input audio, providing input language in ISO 6391 format will improve accuracy and latency. Example EN for English. So we have to basically enter the language codes for the language in which we are providing this audio to this Whisper API. So here we have to enter the language code in ISO 6391 format. So we'll just click on this hyperlink, and here you can see at this page, you can see a list of all the language and their language code. So we have to select 6391 as the language code. So this audio whose link, whose URL we have added in the Google Sheet, which we are going to transcribe in this video, this audio is in English language. So I'll just scroll down, and here you can see that the language code for English is EN for this 6391 language code. So we are going to enter EN over here. I have already entered the language code for this particular audio's language in my Google Sheet. So what we can do, from the Google Sheet responses, we are going to map this response of language code, audio language code as well. Just click on this field, and from this drop down, select the response of audio language. But you have to ensure that you are providing the audio language over here in this particular format. You can enter the same data over here in Google Sheet according to your requirement. After entering the audio language, the last thing it asks us is response or output format. So here in this dropdown, you can see we have 5 different output format, that after transcribing this audio to text, in which format we want to receive the text. Is it a JSON format? In the JSON format we want to get the transcription. Do we want to get the transcription in plain text? Do we want to get the transcription in SRT, which are for YouTube videos? Or do we want to get the transcription in verbose JSON format? Or do we want to get the transcription in video text tracks VTT format? So you can select your response or output format from this dropdown. Right now, I'm just going to select text because I want to get the transcription of this audio whose file URL we have entered as plain text over here. You can select any format according to your choice. And after this, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now, when we click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we have received some response. And in this response, you can see the request ID of this transcription. So we have selected the action event as Make Transcription Request. So using this action event, we have sent all of these details to Whisper API, and then we have made a transcription request to Whisper API. Now, with all of these details, Whisper API is going to transcribe this audio and generate some text over here. So in response, we have received this request ID. Now you must be thinking how we can actually get the text or the transcription of this audio. For that, we have to move to another action step. We will just scroll down and click on this Add Action Step button over here. And here in Choose App, once again we are going to search for same application Growthons API. Just select it, Growthons API. And then in action event from this drop down, this time we have to select the action event as OpenAI Whisper API Get Transcription Request. So in the previous step, we had made a transcription request, but now we want to get the response of a transcription request made earlier. So we are going to select this action event over here. And then just click on Connect. Now because we have connected our Growthons API account in the previous step, we don't have to make a new connection over here. You can select the existing connection and click on Save. After clicking on Save, the only thing it asks us is the request ID. And the help text says, please provide ID that you would like to get. You can get this from Whisper API Make Transcription Request action. So here, using this action, we have received this request ID. And in the next step, we want to get the transcription for this particular request which we have made. So we have to basically map this response of request ID from this action step to this particular action step. But there is an important note which says, make sure to delay for at least 1 hour before using this action. So it is suggesting us to add a delay of at least 1 hour between these two action steps. So once we make a transcription request, it is suggesting us to delay this automation workflow, delay this process for 1 hour, and after 1 hour, we should get the transcription request so that Whisper API will get enough time to transcribe the audio files which we have given to them, to transcribe or process the request which we have given to them. So let's add a delay of 1 hour in this automation workflow. We will just click on this Add Action Step button after our step 2 before this Get Transcription Request button. Before this, we are going to click on this Add Action Step. And we are going to select Delay by Pabbly over here. Just select Delay by Pabbly. Then it is asking us how much delay you want to put in your workflow. In the drop down, we have two options, Delay for and Delay until. So we want to delay this automation workflow for 1 hour. So we are going to select Delay for. And here in delay unit from the drop down, select hours over here. Then here in delay value, just enter 1 and click on Save and Send Test Request. So here you can see that we have successfully delayed this automation workflow for 1 hour at this step. Now, whenever we are going to add a new row of details, new row or details with audio files in Google Sheet, this automation workflow will trigger. And then using that file URL, we are going to make a transcription request to Whisper API. But after making this request, this automation workflow will be delayed for 1 hour. For 1 hour, this automation workflow will pause at this step. And after 1 hour, in the next step, we are going to get the transcription request. We are going to get the details of the request which we have made. So after 1 hour, this step 4 will execute. So here it is asking us for the request ID. So let's map the request ID. But because we have added a new step, a new data before it, it is not showing us any data to map. So we will just reconnect this Growthons API account in this step. Select the existing connection and click on Save. And now we are going to map the request ID which we have received from the previous action step. Just select it and map it over here. After mapping this request ID, just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. Now, because the audio file which we have entered in my Google Sheet, or the audio file whose transcription we have requested right now while setting up this automation, it is a pretty short audio file. It's a small audio file over here. That is why it has made the transcription in few minutes as well. But for a safer side, we have added a delay of 1 hour. So we will give enough time to Whisper API to transcribe the whole audio which we have given. So because it was a short audio, here you can see that we have received the response, and in this response, you can see the transcription of the same audio whose link we have added in our Google Sheet. So we will just open this link over here, and here you can see the audio. And here you can see that in our Pabbly Connect workflow, we have received a response, and in this response, you have received the transcription, the text of that same audio over here. So in this way, the step 2 of setting up this automation is also completed. We have successfully transcribed the audio which we have entered in our Google Sheet using the Grothans API action step and using OpenAI's Whisper API. Now let's move to the final step. In final step, the transcription which we have received over here, we want to add this transcription to the same Google Sheet in the same row in front of it, in this text to audio column. And for that, we will just scroll down, click on this Add Action Step button for the one last time, and here in Choose App, search for Google Sheets. Because we want to update a cell over here in this Google Sheet. We want to update a row over here. After selecting Google Sheet, it is asking us for the action event. So here from this drop down, select the action event as Update Cell Value. Just select it. Click on Connect and select Add New Connection over here. Now, once again, we have to connect this Google Sheet account, our Google Sheet account with Pabbly Connect in this action window. And this time to make the connection, click on this Sign In with Google button. Select your Google Sheets account, scroll down and click on Continue. And as we click on Continue, we will see our Google Sheets account will get connected with Pabbly Connect in this action window as well. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is to select the spreadsheet. So in this drop-down, you will see a list of all the spreadsheets which we have created in our Google Sheets account. And it is asking us out of all of these spreadsheets, in which particular spreadsheet we want to update the cell value. So we want to update the cell value in this spreadsheet named as audio to text transcription. In the same spreadsheet, in which we have added the file URL, the audio URL. So from this drop-down, select the spreadsheet, and also we have to select the sheet that in this spreadsheet, in which particular sheet we want to update the value. So after selecting the spreadsheet and sheet, it is asking us for the range, that what is the range of the cell in which we want to update the value. So in range, guys, I want to update the value in this cell named as D2. So in column D and row 2, I want to update this transcription, add this transcription text. But here, guys, every time we are going to add a new row of data, this row number in this range is going to change. So for this first time, it is D2. The next time when I add a new row of data, it will be D3. The next time it will be D4. So in this range section, the column name is going to be a constant, but the row number is going to be a variable. So here I'm going to enter the name of my column, that is column D, in which I want to enter the data manually. But guys, here in the trigger response which we have received from Google Sheet, in this response, we have also received the row index, that the data of which row we have received inside Pabbly Connect, for which row of data we are transcribing this audio. So from this response of Google Sheet which we have received in trigger window, we are going to map this response of row index from trigger response to this Google Sheets action step in this range section. So just click here, manually enter the column name, but from this Google Sheet responses, map the response of row index. So for whatever row we are going to get the data, from whatever row we are going to get the transcription details, in the same row but in column D, we are going to update the transcription text. After entering the range, the last thing it asks us is the value, that what is the value we want to update. So we want to update this text or the transcription of the audio which we have received from this Grothans API get transcription request response. So from this responses, we are going to map this response of output, this text over here in this value field. Just click on this field, and from the drop down from Grothans API's responses, select this response of output. And after mapping this value, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now when we click on save and send test request, here you can see that we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the value which we have mapped over here, basically the text of the transcription which we have received over here, this text has been added or updated in this particular cell in our Google Sheet. So let's check it. We will go to our Google Sheet and yes guys, here you can see that the same text has been added into this same Google Sheet over here. And this text is the transcription of the same audio whose file link, whose file URL we have added in this row of Google Sheet. So in this way, we can see that we have successfully created this automation using which whenever we are going to add a new row of data in our Google Sheet, whenever in our Google Sheet, we will add a file URL in language. Using this automation, automatically this audio files whose URL we are going to enter will be transcribed and the text from this audio will be updated in the same row in the next column. So here after setting up this automation, let's test this automation workflow once in real time. Let's add a date, then I'll just paste the file URL, the audio URL for a new file or new audio over here in this file URL section. After this, the language is going to be the same. It is in the English language. So we have entered the language as English over here. And we will see guys, as we add a new row of data, a new row with file URL and language in this Google Sheet, this automation workflow will trigger. It will start. And because we have added a delay of 1 hour in this automation workflow, we will see within 1 hour, the transcription of the same audio will be added in column D over here. That too automatically without any manual process. So here we just have to wait for an hour. And yes guys, the 1 hour of delay is complete and now you can see that automatically the transcription of the same audio whose file link we have added in this Google Sheet has been added over here in this column D in the new cell in the same row. So here you can see that the automation workflow which we have created in this video is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, we just have to enter the file URL and language, audio language in the Google Sheet and automatically you can transcribe this audio into text and add that same text into the same Google Sheet. And as I told you, in this video, we are just taking an example of this Google Sheet. Instead of this, you can basically take your audio files from your cloud storage, from emails or any source you want, from wherever you are getting your audio files. And you can send this transcription not into just Google Sheet, but on Slack, on Telegram or Discord or any other platform or any other application of your choice. So I hope this complete video was helpful to you and it will help you to transcribe your audio to text automatically. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will actually find the clone link of this same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone this complete workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this automation workflow for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestion and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.